49ers win ugly in Seattle, 17-13. The thing about week ones and the thing about road games is you don't have to win pretty, you just need to win. And that's what this game was. 49ers got off to a good start. That first scoring drive they had, that touchdown, where they had their full complement of weapons before the Kittle injury, the offense was looking good. Brock Purdy was looking very sharp. And then things changed in this game. When Kittle went out, it changed. But obviously the two major plays in this one, the game-changing plays that we want to highlight in the fourth quarter, in the last few minutes, was the Tonjes touchdown reception. Who would have ever thought he would have more than a reception in this game? He ends up having the big touchdown, really taking the ball away from Woolen for the go-ahead touchdown. And then Nick Bosa's trifecta, the strip sack and recovery, right? You get credit for the sack, the forced fumble, and the fumble recovery, which sealed the victory in week one in Seattle. The 49ers have a 4-game winning streak in Seattle. Brock Purdy is undefeated in Seattle. I mean, the most important thing is the 49ers are 1-0 to start, but there's a cost to this win, as we'll get into later in this review. Coaching, strategy, it really played out the way we thought it would be. The only thing that really changed things up from a 49ers perspective was the injuries. In-game injuries. Meaning losing Kittle early when he looked like he was on for a big game, and then losing Juwan Jennings on top of Kittle when you already had a fairly depleted at receiver. And then you're down late in the game with very few weapons on the road against above average defense. And you look at all three phases of the game. Offense was good. Special teams was terrible. And defense was great throughout the game. The 49ers wanted a balanced attack. I think they were really going to have a big passing game if it wasn't for the injuries. And that also allowed the Seahawks to really concentrate on loading the box as they were. And that changed the game plan. The Seahawks really wanted to run the ball. And at times they were somewhat effective, but then you look at the box score, and the 49ers controlled them on the ground. They did a good job, really, in both ways, stopping the run and really limiting Darnold for a low passing game. I mean, he just didn't put up much yards. There just weren't a lot of completions, and so much that went into that was, and what was really frustrating about this, it should have in many ways been a very comfortable victory. You could say it was special teams. They completely dominated the time of possession, yet the Seahawks were right there with them the entire game. The entire game the Seahawks were with them because of the lousy special teams, especially Jake Moody, which we'll get back to. But let's just do a positional by position review. Brock Purdy at times was very sharp, especially you said early when he had Kittle. He had 2 interceptions. He had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. It could have easily been 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. He was forcing balls. He threw that one interception into about triple coverage, which was a problem. I want to give him a break, though, that he had almost no weapons left at the end of the game. I mean, he had Christian McCaffrey and he had Ricky Pearsall, who was really a non-factor last year. That's what he was down. There's no Kittle, there's no Debo. He's gone. Ayuk's injured, and even the secondary receivers are injured, like Juwan Jennings, Robinson, Watkins. I mean, they're all out for one reason or another. So I give Brock, maybe a B minus. It could have been better. It could have been worse. And he's a bit of a gunslinger. I want to see a quarterback that isn't like Alex Smith. Check down, check down, check down. He did make some big passing plays to Pearsall. I mean, there were some extremely impressive throws in this one. It was just inconsistent. And they had to change the game plan because you lose your best offensive player. And all due respect, McCaffrey, at this point, Kittle is the best offensive player on the team. And then you lose someone like Jennings who would help you move the chains, the possession receiver. But Brock kept firing, and you get the win, and that counts for a lot. Again, not pretty, but he's 4-0 against Seattle. Running backs, I thought McCaffrey, he doesn't look like McCaffrey from a couple years ago, but he's still very effective. He's still good. He's still a difference maker. The problem was the offensive line. And going back to Brock Purdy, it wasn't just that he was down weapons. The offensive line, when it came to pass blocking and protecting their quarterback, had a bad game. They did not help their quarterback. And Kyle Shanahan did not help his quarterback very much. I mean, you got to protect your investment. But, there wasn't much space. There wasn't much in terms of running lanes for Christian McCaffrey. I always thought to myself, man, imagine if Christian McCaffrey was running behind the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. Because of the injuries. McCaffrey, I'm not saying he's better than Saquon Barkley or he's on Barkley's level. Certainly not at this point. But man, imagine if he was running behind that big, massive offensive line. It'd be different. This is not a good O-line. This is a below average. At very best an average, probably a below average offensive line. But he was really more effective as a receiver, McCaffrey. Robinson was okay when he was sprinkled in. I'm going to stop complaining about Jordan Mason after this week, but I miss Jordan Mason, and I think if he was still on this team with everyone else they have, he would still be the second best option to Christian McCaffrey. It's just frustrating. He just wasn't Kyle Shanahan's guy. But he was always effective out there. Career yards a carry, 5 yards a carry. He got it done. He had his shortcomings, but he got it done. And if I recall, he was quite good in that opener against the Jets last year, wasn't he? Just saying. Receivers, tight ends. Pearsall stepped up. He had over 100 yards receiving on the road against a good secondary, an above-average secondary. Big plays, that double move he had on Woolen. This is what you need, especially with these injuries. He did step up and had a big-time game on the road, and I didn't exactly see that coming. I thought he'd have a good game. Great game. Kittle, there really isn't anything else to comment on the receivers, the other receivers out there. They didn't get much from them. Even before Jennings got hurt, they didn't get much from Jennings. Kittle was on pace for a big game. Then there was the injury. He had the one receiving touchdown. Tonjes, he had the game-winning touchdown, the play of the game, taking that ball away, and Brock would have been under fire. he would have if Tonjes didn't come through and get that TD reception. So great game for the tight ends. And then you get back to that offensive line. Oh, and I could say this too, that the 49ers, I felt it was time to move on from Debo, but they could have used Debo yesterday. He had a good game. First game in Commanders, we'll see how he does as the season progresses. Offensive line, Trent Williams was good in the run game from everything I saw, but in the passing game, he did not have a good game. I mean, he's looking older, and, it may have had something to do with that injury. He came up limping at one point. I mean, the injuries are already biting the 49ers big time. Doesn't help, in my opinion, they have 2 turf games to start the season, and considering they're already so injury prone. But if Trent Williams isn't close to the Trent Williams that we remember, the 49ers are in trouble, Brock Purdy's in trouble. I complained about this in the preview that Kyle Shanahan did not invest in the offensive line. The 49ers front office did not invest in the offensive line. I mean, you just invested in Brock. Well, you better protect him. You better protect your investment. You better protect your quarterback. And look, he may not play this coming week. You got him through week 1, but you already got your quarterback hurt. He may not even play in week 2 because you could not protect him from the big hits. Seattle's physical, but it's not like they have a great pass rush. It's one of the most frustrating things for me because you just have Trent Williams, and for the most part, I mean, with the exception of Pooney, I mean, I know the 49ers feel differently about some of the guys on the offensive line. They could upgrade at 2, if not arguably 3 of the positions on the offensive line. They chose not to. And I know you had to really improve the defense, but just to ignore the offensive line, they're already regretting it. Already regretting it out there. As the Seattle defensive line, and it came to passing plays, was consistently winning and getting to Purdy. I mean, it was rough for Purdy, and I don't want to be too hard on him. If it wasn't for these reasons, I'd probably give him below mark for a B- in this game. But between losing your best player, losing your number 2 receiver, and then your offensive line really not holding up, it was a hard game. But he stuck in there. Anyway, and the defense came through. The defense was sharp from the start. I mean, not a lot of pressure on the quarterback, but they didn't give up the big plays. And I didn't think Sam Darnold had a lot of big plays. They limited the run. They tackled well. And they were able to force 2 fumbles. Okawanu and, of course, the game winner. And they really had 2 game winners, you could say, on offense and defense. The Tonjes touchdown reception, yes, which put him ahead, but the play by Bosa officially ended. And Bosa had several nice plays. He had 3 tackles for loss. I mean, there were some concerns with the defense, too, with Fred Warner went out. Thankfully, he came back in. I mean, just look at that. I mean, you had all these scares in this game. You saw Trent Williams limping. You had George Kittle lead the game, and he's going to be out possibly for weeks. Fred Warner left the field. I mean, wow. They need all their guys. They don't have depth. This isn't the same 49ers. I mean, the defensive line, it seemed like the rookies did okay, but no one really stood out. You don't really remember anyone's name being called. It did still feel like it was Nick Bosa and a lot of guys out there. But you have to be patient because, well, they didn't really play any preseason, and they do need to develop. They need experience. I mean, none of these guys are these superstars where you're hoping they'll blossom into good, maybe even above average players, some of them. But Nick Bosa was the defensive hero. Fred Warner still had a solid game. And I'll say this, they did not miss Dre Greenlaw. D. Winters had a fine game. Very rangy, good tackling, and same thing with the secondary. They were good on all three levels. Yeah, they gave up a few plays, but Cooper Kupp did almost nothing. They did well on defense. And Robert Saleh, is it good to have Robert Saleh back? Oh yes, it is good to have Robert Saleh back coaching the defense, and he did the best job coaching of, again, all three phases of the three units. The defense came through. The defense stood up. And then there's special teams. Oh yeah, and I'll just say again, I love Greenlaw. Great 49er, but he didn't even play yesterday. I was going back and looking at the Broncos box score. I see Hufanga. I think he led the Broncos in tackles. I don't miss Talanoa Hufanga. Also, good 49er, but don't miss him. He really only had one good season, and that was all. And I think even in that season, he was a bit overrated. But Greenlaw didn't even suit up. I mean, see what I mean? As great as a 49er is, you just can't depend on him anymore. I mean, a lot of players never recover from that injury. Okay. Special teams. Special teams almost lost them the game. I mean, really, the only reason this was a particularly close game and came down to the almost the bitter end was because of special teams, and specifically Jake Moody. In the preview show, again, I was saying I am not looking forward to Jake Moody trotting on the field. I have seen enough of Jake Moody, and yet all this drama because he misses an easy field goal. I think it was 35 yards, a 35-yarder. He misses it. Then the second one gets blocked. You may blame it on the line. You could blame it on the kicker, but he misses two in a row. The final score was 17-13. Well, you add those 6 points. Even the one, then the worst the Seahawks would have done at the end of the game was tie the game. Unless they're going to go for two. I don't know. But enough. I mean, when is it enough that you already gone through this drama, not just this year, but it's been drama with him, and it's been difficult, it's been pulling teeth since he's arrived as a 49er. And you just can't afford that. You cannot have special teams losing you games like Jake Moody, and I have had enough. I mean, one of the main priorities of the offseason was getting a new kicker, and Kyle Shanahan wants to defend the draft pick and keep Jake Moody. And I think Grant Cohn says something really funny. It's like, don't the 49ers have enough Jakes on their team? And I would say they have one Jake too many with Jake Moody. It is not difficult finding kickers. Look what Prater did in the Bills game. Veteran kicker just comes in there. He drills his kicks. He wins the game. And that all-time classic between the Bills and the Ravens. Guess what? He's going to be available in a few weeks, isn't he? Get him, but don't even wait. Just find someone. Don't go through another week with Jake Moody kicking field goals. I mean, enough is enough. And that wasn't the only thing. I mean, Sky Moore made things more interesting than they needed to be with special teams. I mean, the main thing is they got the victory. But I don't see this, unless something changes and all of a sudden they get very healthy and the young players really develop quickly and become real contributors. This is not a team that, I mean, they could win the division, but clearly they're not on the level of the class of the NFC. They are not on the level of the Eagles or, I suppose, the Packers and the Commanders. I hesitate to say the Lions. I don't want to overreact, but they missed their coordinators yesterday, didn't they? Ben Johnson, then he loses today. We'll give it some time, but I don't see it being a good season for the Lions. I mean, they can make the playoffs, but nothing more than a wild card team. That's probably the best. And for the 49ers, the way things are going with all these injuries, they would be fortunate to be a wild card team. This team's got a lot of problems. They've got a very good head coach, but at times extremely stubborn head coach who is unwilling to change, unwilling to learn from his mistakes, doesn't want to admit that he's wrong on a lot of things. And you have a team that just can't stay healthy. And I don't think the 49ers are on the same level as the Rams right now either. I mean, Stafford is better than Purdy, and the Rams have a better all-around team. I mean, the 49ers have very good core players, but those core players had to stay healthy, and you don't have Kittle now. I mean, you may not have Brock in the next game, and good luck even beating the Saints with that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's always sweet to beat the Seahawks. It's a great week 1 win. I'm not seeing this team, and I'm not big about overreacting. I can only say what I see after 1 week. And this does not look like any kind of dominating team. You think they're going to keep Christian McCaffrey healthy for a whole season when he gets over 30 touches? And yes, I know they had the injuries, so they had to use him more. But between not protecting Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey just getting hit at the line or behind the line again, a recipe for disaster. It sounds negative, and it is negative after a win, but you just see the same old problems. Not protecting your quarterback, not protecting your star running back, special teams disasters, a kicker that can't get it done. But the best coaching on the field was Robert Saleh, not Kyle Shanahan. And if you look at it from a Seahawks perspective, I'm just sitting there saying, what's there to be excited about? I don't think you have that much of a running game. You don't have enough at receiver. I mean, they at least missed the threat of DK Metcalf. And you can have the big arm quarterback all you want, but do you have the right players around him? And I just don't have confidence in Sam Darnold. I'm not saying Sam Darnold can't play, but Sam Darnold's inconsistent, and I said Brock Purdy's inconsistent, but he had good reasons for inconsistencies. Overall, Brock is not inconsistent. I think we've seen enough of Darnold in tough games with tougher defenses, going back to last season. The last regular season game, the last playoff game, and this game. He just makes the mistakes. He can certainly make some big plays, but he makes the mistakes. And I mean, he had much better weapons in Minnesota. I mean, he did have Justin Jefferson after all, didn't he? He had Addison, he had Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. Much better weapons. They did improve the offensive line, but not enough playmakers, and it's just not the quarterback that I would marry myself to. But that's the situation Mike McDonald's in. I think McDonald's is good and he's a good defensive coordinator. I don't know if he's going to make a good head coach. Right now, Kyle Shanahan can outcoach Mike McDonald, and people make way too much out of that Christmas Day Ravens game. That was 2023, and that was with the Ravens. It's different. Okay? It's different. And then on defense, they play hard. I think you need more edge rush from Seattle, and I continue to see that as a problem. They have a very well coached defense, but I'd still say they don't have enough playmakers on defense. They just don't have enough playmakers, game changers, all the way around. But I'd expect the Seahawks to be competitive. Again, that's what they do. The Seahawks were competitive with Pete Carroll. The Seahawks were competitive with Mike McDonald. They don't have the right quarterback. They don't have enough offensive firepower or defensive firepower to overtake the 49ers right now. And that was amazing. That one side of the field, how many 49er fans there were. Truly amazing. I mean, when you looked at the highlights of Bosa at the end of the game, getting the ball and the sack, it looked like it was practically a 49ers home game. It's just almost a sea of red. And that's embarrassing for the Seahawks week one when they have all these expectations and you get your stadium invaded like that. I mean, it's not Los Angeles. I mean, you expect that in Los Angeles with the Rams. I mean, the Rams don't even have a fan base. Are you kidding me? I mean, I felt like the only team that should have moved to Los Angeles was the Raiders. Chargers should still be in San Diego. Raiders in Los Angeles. And if you're going to move someone else, fine, okay, move the Rams to Las Vegas. Anyway. The other big games, we know the Eagles held on against the Cowboys. The Chargers beat the Chiefs. The Rams did beat the Texans in a close one. Green Bay looked very impressive against the Lions. I feel the Lions are going to come back down to earth a bit this year. And the last two seasons, I mean, the Lions may never get better chances than that with this coaching staff and with Jared Goff. And I'm not a Jared Goff believer at all. Good enough to get you in the playoffs? Yeah. Good enough to maybe get you to a Super Bowl? Not win a Super Bowl, Jared Goff. I mean, I feel like I'm saying the same thing too. Dan Campbell, almost said Quinn, Dan Campbell decided to marry himself to Jared Goff. You put as much around him as you can, and it's still not good enough. Lions are coming back down. Big win for the Packers. Commanders looked good, but let's be honest, it is the Giants. They're at this point an average at best team, and Russell Wilson's just become a joke and a laughing stock. I mean, you think of how he was so great against the 49ers, and to see him just go bounce from team to team to team. And again, he's had a great career. I'm not trying to disrespect Russell Wilson, but to see him just go down like this, I didn't see it coming. And then finally, I'm not even going to talk about the Monday night game. Finally, the Sunday night game, Bills and Ravens. You see these two great quarterbacks going at it. But Josh Allen, people said, well, he shouldn't have been the MVP last year. I will take Josh Allen over Lamar. I mean, the best two quarterbacks in the league, for me at least. Mahomes is 1A and Allen is 1B. I mean, they are very, very close. I mean, it was rough that Derrick Henry had such a great game. I mean, he had almost 200 yards rushing. And he fumbles the ball and everyone's getting on him. Like, seriously? Yeah, the timing was terrible, but this man had, he was rushing for 9 yards a carry in the game, almost 200 yards. But Josh Allen and the Bills just did not give up. And the Ravens, John Harbaugh gets a lot of passes. Ever since that Super Bowl, the Ravens have been coming just short for only so long. You wonder how much longer Harbaugh is going to get. I mean, I feel if the Bills don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, McDermott is gone. How much longer is John Harbaugh going to get? Because they're not going to blame Lamar. They're not, but I will ask the question too, is Lamar, as the quarterback, keeps also just falling short. And that's a big game, losing head-to-head against the Bills, because the Ravens are in a tougher division. And you look at who the Bills could be going up against, maybe the Chiefs do fall back this year. But if you consider the Ravens the favorite in the AFC, they're going up against the Steelers. They're going up against the Bengals. And the Browns are no joke. You can laugh at Joe Flacco all you want. They are not a joke. They got tough games ahead of them. And we'll see how the Ravens bounce back. I mean, I expect them to do. But who's going to end up winning the big game? I mean, who's going to end up, if it is the Chiefs against one of these teams, will one of them actually beat the Chiefs? So, it ended up being a good week one. And it was a great finish on the Sunday night game. The Vikings and Bears are not teams of consequence. But that Bills-Ravens, hey, that could be your AFC Championship game, and it could be very well in Buffalo.